Do you love taking a team from the lowest division possible in a nation and building them up to being the best team in world football? And look no further than this. Top 5 teams to do a Park to Prem challenge with. And if you don't know what a Park to Prem challenge is, the Park to Prem challenge is you pick a non-league side, normally in the lower tier, so below the National League, South and North, and take them all the way to the Premier League and beyond. It's a great challenge. There's some great teams in there. Now let's get into those top 5 teams. Coming in at number 5 is social media sensational side #United. The tags were formed in 2016 on social media, and they've got a big social media following across YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, any social media platform you can think of. #United are on there, and they've got such a great name and such a great brand. It is an unbelievable side to pick to be on this, Park to Prem. It'll be great to make #United the biggest side in English football. Imagine that started off on social media and now the biggest and best side competing with teams like Manchester City. It would be an unbelievable journey. They've even had some people that have gone on Love Island as well, so they're very much on top of fashionable trends at the same time. In terms of the team, some of their players are added. I have to admit, I am not actually the most in tune with their squad, but their squad is on the game, and they've got players like Greg Halford, who used to play in the Premier League. He's played for teams like Southampton, he's played for teams like Aberdeen, Cardiff, Birmingham City, Nottingham Forest, Wolverhampton Wanderers, Charlton. He's been around the EFL and the Premier League for a long time, and he is now 38 years of age. He was a good player back in the day, and he's finishing off his career at #United. I think that's absolutely excellent. They've got a very good squad. I have to admit, their squad is very good. Toby, who used to be on Love Island, is now on Football Manager as part of this database. I mean, what more do you want? A Love Islander playing for you in the National League as well, in the Ishman Premier Division, which is one league below the Vanarama National South. So they could be in with the big time if you can get them promoted. Their league and their teams in there, they've got some good teams in there. They've got Canvey Island, Billericay Town, who were, once had all that money. And where did all that money go? They had Jamie O'Hara playing for them as well. But can you take #United to being the best team in English football? What a challenge that is. In at 4th place is England's oldest club, and it is Sheffield. They were formed in 1857, and also, like #, have a good following on social media. They will have a good following in real life as well. They are picked as England's oldest club. Now, why not make England's oldest club England's best ever club? I mean, this would be an unbelievable challenge. I mean, you could even tie this into being part of a Big Brother challenge where you overtake the likes of Sheffield Wednesday and Sheffield United as well. That would be very good challenge. It would be an unbelievable challenge to make them the biggest team in English football. In terms of their players, well, they've got a very good team for the Northern Premier League Division 1 East. They've got some decent players in there as well. Nathan Modest is a very good, experienced player. Been in around the lower leagues all of his career. He will bring the experience that you need to take this club forward. And he will bang in a fair few goals at this level as well. Josh Burns is a 22-year-old right-hand centre-back. He's been in around the lower leagues all of his career. Started off at Lincoln City and has now played 44 games for Sheffield. So a little bit of a Sheffield mainstay in the squad there as well. Ted Cribley is an experienced winger, played 31 games for Sheffield. He's been in around the lower leagues all of his career as well. It's a good side for the Northern Premier League Division 1 East. And if we take a look at the teams that you will come up against, I don't feel like you'll have much of a challenge getting out of this division in the first season, should you be able to take Sheffield up in that season. It would be a great season, a great thing to do. Can you make the oldest club in England the biggest and best club in England? In at 3rd place is Nuneaton Borough. Now, they're a team that have had a team in the past, folded, reformed in 2008, and are on the brink of going again in real life. There isn't much media coverage around this, but thanks to one of my subscribers who's filled me in with the story, it is such a shame to see clubs go out of the window, and Nuneaton could be the next club that you haven't really heard of that could go out of the window. And it's a big community down there. They've got a good stadium, 4,600 capacity, built in 2007. It would be a shame if this club goes out of existence. But That's not part of this challenge. The part of the challenge is to make Nuneaton the biggest club in England. So can you take them from the brink of non-existence to the absolute precipice of being the best team in English football? It would be an unbelievable challenge, and it would be something that I would love to do at some point. I feel like it's a great, great team to be. Now, they've got some decent players in the squad. Finances will be a bit of an issue, to be honest with you, but they've got some good players. Dan Joseph is a 25-year-old goalkeeper who's been around the lower leagues all of his career. He's very good for this level. He's got some decent stats. He's definitely a sweeper keeper, given the stats that he's got. So you can probably play some sweeper keeper football with Dan in net. Other players that I like is Bilal Yafai. He's a 27-year-old winger who's quite versatile. Been around the lower leagues all of his career and will bring that lower league experience to your squad. In terms of strikers, you've got Connor Tomlinson up front, a 22-year-old with plenty of talent. Scored 37 goals in 114 games for Bedford Town. Now finds himself at Nuneaton, a former Luton Town Academy graduate. He will be very good in bagging the goals that you need. Now, in terms of the division that they're in the Southern League Premier Central, and they've got some good teams in this division. Telford United are a very good squad. Kettering are another good side. Micklever as well are decent. And you've got teams like Needham Market and Leiston in there as well. It is a very competitive division with one team going up and one team going up via the playoffs. It will be hard to get them up in the first season, but can you do it? Can you take Nuneaton Town all the way to being the best team in England? In second place is another team who went out of existence and then came back into re-existence and are now absolutely flying in real life. They recently beat my side, FC Isle of Man, in real life and gave us an absolute trouncing, and they're doing very well in the division as well. They were founded originally in 1885. They did go out of existence a fair few years ago now, and there's that whole story on the BBC which is absolutely sad to see, and it's a shocker. It's an absolute shocking story, and I feel sorry for the people of Bury, but they do have a football club back now. They've got a great stadium at 11,000 capacity. They've got good season ticket holders. They've got vocal support as well, something that you really need at this level. They've had some good players play for them in the past. They've had some good managers as well. They've had Dean Kiley play for them, Stephen Schumacher, David Nugent as well in the past. They've had big players. Can you take them back to that level? They were a league side for many years when I was growing up, and they were a very good league side as well, it has to be said. The Shakers are in good shape. They've got some good players for this division. As I said, they absolutely smashed the Isle of Man recently, so they must be fairly good. Andy Briggs, 25-year-old striker. He's been around the lower leagues his whole life. He could be a bench player. He could score goals for you. Can you get the best out of Andy up top? You've got another one in Connor Comer with 11 finishing, 16 determination. A Bolton Wanderers former academy graduate as well. He could be very good in bagging goals in these lower divisions. Shaquille Jones-Griffiths as well is a holding midfield player at Bury. He's been around the blocks in the lower leagues, as many of these players have, but now Bury is his home, and he wants you to take him all the way to the Premier League and beyond. In terms of the league they're in a league that I know very well, the North West Counties League Premier Division. They're in there with teams like AFC Liverpool. You've got FC Isle of Man, big up the Ravens. They're in there as well. Teams like Ramsbottom United, Wivenshoe, Pilkington, Paddingham, so many memories flooding back after the series I did with the Isle of Man last year. But can you take Bury from the North West Counties Premier League champions to all the way to being UEFA Champions League winners? The best recommendation for a non-league to Premier League save is to do a team that means something to you. So whether that's your local club or a club that you fell in love with over the years of maybe watching them on social media, or you've been there in person, or you know someone from there, whatever the excuse may be, pick that club. And for this reason, that's why I'm picking my boys, the FC Isle of Man. And if you didn't know, I am not from the Isle of Man. My wife's family is, and I've been there so many times. I haven't yet seen a game. I need to go there and watch a game. Every time I go, they're not playing at home. So yeah, that's why I picked the Ravens, the biggest and best non-league to Premier League save that you can do. It also adds in the Island Challenge as well. And if you don't know what an Island Challenge is, it's essentially you pick a team that's based on an island and you make them the biggest and best club in Europe. So for instance, Isle of Man's only got a population of about 80,000 people. So there is going to be a cap on what you can achieve in terms of the stadium built. For instance, you're not going to get a 60,000 stadium capacity built because, you know, not everyone on the island is going to go and watch the game. Although they pack out the stadium every week in the Isle of Man, which is absolutely class. I mean, it's absolutely buzzing down there, I've heard. I've seen the videos as well. Absolutely class club. Can't say anything more about them in, in this video. But on the game, as you start off, they don't have any players. So this is a fantastic chance for you to build the club in the way that you want to build the club. You'll have to sign your players. You'll have to sign your coaching, your staff, all of that stuff. For some reason in this database, they never add the Manx players into the game, which is a little bit disappointing. As a big Ravens fan myself, I have to say I wanted to see some of those boys in there so I could use them in the game. But this is the perfect opportunity to build your club from scratch, to build them up to being the biggest and best team in England. And let's just deep that. They're not English, they're Manx. Isle of Man is a separate country in itself. It has their own passport, they have their own laws. Yes, it's very culturally similar to Britain in some ways, and in other ways it's really, really not. So yeah, I mean, you even throwing in that other challenge as well of clubs that don't play in their own nation's league to be winning that nation's league. So think FC Vaduz in Liechtenstein, think all those other clubs, Monaco in France as well. And making Isle of Man the biggest team in England and Europe is one of the challenges I really want to kick off of my bucket list. I think it's an unbelievable challenge, but like I said, pick a club that means absolutely everything to you and do it with them. That's the biggest and best way you can enjoy a football manager, and the biggest and best way you can enjoy a part to Prem safe.